morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning will begin on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's observed on the third Monday of January each year. The campaign for a federal holiday in honor of Dr. King's birthday began soon after his assassination in 1968. President Ronald Reagan signed the holiday into law in 1983, and it was officially observed in all 50 states for the first time in 2000. My first guests, they're here to tell us about one of the longest running King celebrations in the country that happens right here in Milwaukee. The 35th annual Dr. King birthday celebration at the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts. I'm happy to welcome Paul Matthews, who serves as the president and CEO of the Marcus Center, and Amilia Bell, who is a first place speech contest winner representing Rufus King High School. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Thank you for being here today. And this 35th annual Dr. King celebration is happening this weekend. Tell us more about what we can expect this year.
Well, it's a milestone for a couple of reasons. One, it's the 35th, and then Dr. King is it's his 90th birthday, and that is very significant as well. But every year we try to change it up. The core of the program is still the great speeches and writing and wonderful, talented young people like Amilia who are going to be speaking at the event. But this year we're going to take some time to honor Sandra Parks, the young woman who was murdered last year.
Yes.
And what's particularly poignant for us is that she's a previous contest winner.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
And for people who may not be familiar, a young lady who was shot by random gunfire while in her home, and she had written, and that's the part that really grabbed everybody's heartstrings across the country, that she talked about the need to have peace and get rid of the violence. And then here she was innocently taken away by violence that had nothing to do with her.
That's right, and she gave a wonderful speech at the time. We've lost a dynamic future leader as a result of this tragedy. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge her and what she had to say and the importance of what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And every year we change it up. This year we're going to have the Majestic Community Choir, which is 30 voices singing some wonderful gospel music.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be new this year, so I think they're going to perform twice. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and what I love about this whole lineup that you present every year is that it is an awesome representation of the melting pot of people who make up this wonderful community that we live in. So, for example, you've got the Among American Friendship, there's the Salam School, and then the Milwaukee Flyers, who are a group of young men who have made their way at so many different events, and they have such a great story behind them as far as just really showcasing their talents and, you know, having something to do that will take them to greater levels as well.
I've had the unique experience of standing underneath them when they're flying over the stage.
Yes, and they've done it so many times you weren't even scared, right?
That's right.
Well, this is all happening Sunday, January 20th at 1 p.m. in Eline Hall. As always, like you said, it highlights the youth who interpret Dr. King's work through art, speech, and writing. And Amilia, I did mention you are a first place winner in the speech contest. Talk about why it was so important for you to participate in this.
Well, I noticed that the popular topic that was going on with that is what happened to Sandra Parks. And I noticed that happened in 2016, and yet back in 2018 we were still seeing the same problems. And so I felt that I should tell the community that and tell them that it's time to fix that and get out and, you know, do things in the community to really help, you know, improve from that problem.
And you know what, Paul, every time you come here with one of the young people,
right,
they are amazing, and it's clear that they are the future.
They are the future, and for those of us who do some form of public speaking in our day jobs, get put to shame every time these young people get up on that stage. It's pretty awesome to see.
Well, it is always important to mention that Milwaukee and Dr. King's hometown of Atlanta, those are the only cities in the entire country that have celebrated Dr. King's holiday annually since 1984.
That's correct, and we're still going very strong. We have several thousand students a year at least that participate in the various contests. It's grown to be a community-wide multicultural event, as you've mentioned, because Dr. King's words spread across all cultures, influence people of all walks of life. And we're really proud of the fact that it's become such an amazing multicultural event from the time it started 35 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Amilia, you being in high school, you have a lot of things that we didn't have growing up, like the internet.
Exactly.
So really anything that crosses your mind, you can Google it, look it up, read about it. So I'm interested in knowing what are your thoughts on race relations when you look at what's happening in the world we live in today?
I'm saddened to see that everything is so segregated in our community when we're supposed to be one community, bringing up, solving different problems as one. We're doing it we're being segregated from each other. So I think that that's something that we definitely need to work on, is becoming together and being a melting pot, as you mentioned before, and improving on different problems that we face in the community.
Yeah, and you say in your speech that after all these years and so many movements and just so many things happening, we still have yet to reach Dr. King's dream.
Exactly.
And so I
That's
think
right.
we do reach a lot of milestones, but sometimes, and you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree, it feels like we're taking steps backwards.
Back, yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to hear a young people's perspective, because you were around when Dr. King was giving speeches. I'm not sure how old you were at the time, but
Well, I'll just say that I was around.
but no, and I don't mean to make a joke of it.
No,
it's
it's
really
true.
amazing that you were able to witness so many things. So when you hear a young lady who is a freshman in high school talk about what saddens her, what are your thoughts?
Well, it saddens me to hear it. As you know, Milwaukee is still a very segregated community.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, hasn't changed over time. And so I'm saddened, but I'm also encouraged that young people like Amilia see this, understand this, are committed to trying to want to still change this.
Yeah.
And they're influenced by Dr. King's words. And I was in high school. I did grow up, and I remember when he was assassinated. It was a very painful time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to do, though, is talk about the fact that there's always this amazing reception once this event ends on Sunday. So tell us more.
Well, of course, and as you mentioned, it's a free event, and we have free parking. And then we conclude the event with a Paulette Copeland reception. Paulette was one of the initiators 35 years ago of the event, and so we just throw it open. It's a great party. People hang around. This year there won't be, unfortunately, a Packer playoff game.
You just had to say that.
Well, I have to say this,
You usually try to get out of there so people can see the game, right?
if there is one, we put a TV in the ballroom. So,
Well, unfortunately, not the case, like you said.
But
yeah.
people will have a good time, and the students who are the contest winners get to meet people who've been in the audience and pose for pictures. And it's really, really, really cool.
So, Amilia, I'm guessing that you've met a lot of cool kids in participating in this.
Yes, I have, definitely. Different kids that have participated. I've been doing this since I was in second grade.
Okay.
So along the way, I've met a lot of people who've also participated in the competition as well.
Okay, well, congratulations on
Thank you.
winning first place, and we are going to give everybody at home a chance to hear your speech, so I'm excited about that. Of course, for more details, everyone can go to your website for information.
www.marcuscenter.org. We've got the full schedule, the full lineup up, and And so we hope people take a look at that, and we do hope that people come to the event. We really want a big crowd.
Yeah,
coming to the event.
and it's guaranteed they will leave there really feeling like there is hope for the future.
They
so
will.
That's
They will.
what it's all about. Wanted to mention the honorary co-chairs are Mayor Tom Barrett, County Executive Chris Abley, and the Marcus Center's board chair Jerome Janzer.
Yes.
So a lot of elected officials involved in this, a lot of who's who comes out every year to take part and really just witness the greatness that these young people have within them. So this is something to look forward to once again.
It is very much so, and that focus on youth is important because people go away inspired about what the future can be in this community.
I want to emphasize it's absolutely free and open to the
Yes.
public, and you guys are doing complimentary parking, so no
Right, that's
excuses
right.
to stay away. Thank you both so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Matthews, he's the president and CEO of the Marcus Center, and Amilia Bell, she is the first place speech contest winner representing Rufus King High School, and she's going to take us to break with her winning speech. When we return, we're going to meet a local author who was inspired by Dr. King when writing her latest children's book as well. We'll talk to author Laura Heiler right after this.
Some of you may ask, why is she clapping? To answer your question, I'm clapping to commemorate the 35-year-long legacy celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In fact, it's a reason for us all to be clapping. Hello, my name is Amilia Bell. I am in the 9th grade, and I attend Rufus King High School. In 1983, exactly 35 years ago, former President Ronald Reagan designated the third Monday of January to be a federal holiday, honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Did you know that Atlanta, Georgia, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin are the only cities to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. for the past 35 years? Stated by Fox 6 News. I think Wisconsin does it better. Let's just take a moment to really think about what he has contributed to our nation and how he has helped us to strive to our goal of reaching the promised land and getting to the mountaintop. According to the Seattle Times, the promised land was where you did not have to march for your dignity. It was where you did not have to sing for your freedom. It was where there was no need for speeches to verify your humanity. The promised land was that sacred place where all of God's children would stand as equal on level, fertile ground. According to Dr. King, the promised land is a place we will reach someday. But after 35 years of celebration, and after 35 years of action, such as hashtags, movement, and protests, we have not yet made it to the place that Dr. King said we would arrive. In 2018, I still see people living on the streets of Milwaukee, right down the road. I still see parents unable to provide for their children because of the lack of resources. I still see Milwaukee Public Schools' dropout rate rise and funding lowered. Last year, the theme for this contest was Take a Stand for Truth and Justice. I talked about juvenile car thefts and the negative effects it had on the community, followed by their slap on the wrist. In 2016, the theme was We Shall Overcome. I discussed the poverty, racism, and violence weaknesses in our community. Back in 2016, 9-year-old Zalea Jenkins was shot by a stray bullet while sitting in her own home, one day before her 10th birthday. And yet, in 2018, I still seen a 13-year-old girl who participated in this writing contest shot by a stray bullet that pierced through her window. A situation that just happened a few weeks ago. A situation that is sore to the community. A situation that seems all too familiar. Gunshots, police lights, news reporters, and yellow tape every single night. Yes, it's been 35 years of celebration, but we are still seeing the same problems that King consistently preached, marched, and prayed about. Parents, imagine telling your child goodnight, followed by a kiss and a see you in the morning. But the morning of having your child present at the breakfast table never happened. You heard the gunshot, a familiar sound to you. You think nothing of it until your child comes in your room and, like Sandra Parks said, "Mama, I'm shot." May Sandra Parks and Zalea Jenkins both rest in peace. This infuriates me. We have to do better. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. died for our freedom. We have to do better. Every year, there are thousands of MPS students who put their hard work into speaking for change. We have to do better. Yes, we have come so far. But as King said, there is still a great deal of positive work to do. We have to do better. Congratulations on 35 years of celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and 35 years more to make it to the promised land by all saying together, we have to do better. Thank you.